There's a few things that you should know before we start the video. First of all, you're going to need a couple tools that you may not have, and one of them in particular you probably will not have. First one is the jaw puller, the jaw puller for the crankshaft pulley. Two jaw might work, but you're going to be running into problems with space and so this like a 4-inch. I used a 4-inch 3-jaw pulley puller for the crankshaft, and it worked great. It worked pretty good. Another thing you should know is you need to buy the camshaft locking tool. It's a Ford tool. You can buy it on Amazon. It locks the 4 cams in place when you take the chain off. Without it, you would never get the chain back on correctly. So those are the two things that are a must for this job. And another key thing that would be beneficial for you guys, and would have been for me, well, if it's possible, is to raise the cab off the frame. I know it sounds crazy, but working it give you all kinds of more room, and it'd be less frustrating and quickly and easier. So I know most DIY guys like me, there's no way you can lift the cab off the truck. But if you can, that is a great option. When my truck was finished, the fenders were scratched, my back was killing me from leaning over so much. It would be a great benefit, a great help. Part of the video, this video, part 1, there's a section there where I did screw up, but I was able to fix it. But it was a major oversight on my part. I could have majorly screwed up the engine. Have a look, watch the video, see if you catch it. I reveal it near the end, but a professional guy wouldn't do this mistake. But a DIY guy like me, who's never done this before, can easily do this mistake. So guys, have a look and see what I did and how I fixed it. But it could have been very, very bad. Has something to do with the crankshaft. That's all I'll say. That's all I'm going to say. So enjoy. Part 1 is the total removal, dismantling of all the parts, and then part 2 will be the assembly with all the new parts. So hopefully you'll watch the first part, and hopefully you'll watch the second part. This was a lot of hours. There was a lot of hours into this, so it is only a 47-minute video, so there was a lot of editing on this video. So hopefully it turned out okay, and hopefully you guys enjoy. So start watching. Thanks. Well, today in the garage, we're going to be working on my 2011 Ford F-150. Ever since I owned it, pretty much 4 years ago, 5 years, I guess it's been 5 years since I owned this truck, and it always had a rattle when you first started up, and it would only do it once in a while, so I never really paid too much attention to it. And I did look it up on YouTube and on Google, and it did mention the timing chain could be stretched. Like, okay, well, that seems like a lot of work. I'll just leave it for now. But years later, and especially in the last 6 months, it's getting worse. So now, if you shut the truck off if you turn it off and you leave it for a couple hours or a few hours, the rattle is there always. As soon as you start it, it always has that rattle, as you probably heard at the beginning of the video. So today, I finally said, screw it. I'm gonna attempt to fix this. Now they talk about the timing chain, the tensioner, the guides, the exhaust, the intake, phasers, all four of them, change everything. I priced it out. Here in Canada, it's like if you're going to replace all the timing chain parts, you're talking about $1,500 plus tax. So I'm just gonna open this thing up, see what it needs. If everything looks okay, then I'm just gonna replace the chain and the tensioner. And if it needs phasers after that, well, then I'll go back in and change it out if I have to. But I'm not gonna replace $1,600 parts on a $5,000 truck. But the noise is getting pretty bad. It's actually getting embarrassing, really. When you first start it up and people walking by, they'll stop and look at you. So I think it's time to fix it. So I'm gonna just set you guys up, and we'll start taking everything apart. Another thing I should mention, this noise coming from this engine, apparently it's only found on the 2011 to 2014 Ford EcoBoost engines. So if you have anything other than that, I don't know if this fix is gonna help you guys out, but this is what I have, and I am 99.9% sure it's the timing chain. To get to the timing chain, all this in front of the engine block has to come out. So we're talking pipes, fans, maybe a rad, battery. So you want as much room as you can possibly have. You don't want to be fighting with stuffing away. So engine cover, alternator, it's a big job, guys. It's gonna be a pretty big job. So let's get started. I think the very first thing we're gonna do is take this battery out. We don't want any shorts, any sparks anywhere. So start with the battery, then we'll look at maybe the hoses, the air intake, this fuse box. We'll see. We'll just see how it goes. Okay. Make sure that doesn't bounce up and hit that again. Now this battery has to come out. This thing's heavy. Something to stand on. This thing's very heavy. Take this battery box out. So there's two bolts holding this battery box in. 13 mil. All right. Can't reach the. I can't even see if there's a spout on the rad to let the coolant out, but the hoses are in the way, so I guess I'm gonna work on the hoses now. Oh, I guess this is part of the evap system, I think. Whew. All these hoses everywhere. Oh. Okay, you got the overflow. Okay. There you go. Another big, huge piece. Okay, you're ready to catch some coolant. More than I thought. Oh, jeez. Way more than I thought. keep on coming. Okay. Okay. Ugh. In theory. Yeah, fuck. F150 rad fans out. Well, boys, it's getting there. This is about 2 hours and a half into it. Rad's out, battery box, air cleaner box, fans are out. Sorry, not the rad, the fans are out. Bunches relocated the fuse box and all the piping to the turbos, intercooler, all that's off. And I think I'm gonna call it quits now. Come back tomorrow and start disconnecting all the hoses, even more hoses, and all these connectors here, because the valve covers will need to come off. Spark plug coils need to come off. Oh shit! There's a whole bunch of shit that needs to come off still. So I'm gonna call it quits for today and back at it tomorrow. Okay. Beautiful. Well, so far they're all the same length. I can't believe there isn't one at the bottom. Ah, yes, there is. Now I gotta take that pulley off. A big one, crankshaft pulley. Well, they say you're supposed to put something under the belt while spinning it, and then walk it off this pulley. What's that? 19 seems too big. 18 millimeter. Whoa, careful. I think your hands are caught in there. Come on. Oh, fuck. Oh. Whew. There it is. Okay, yeah. So now let's take the high pressure fuel pump off. And then the valve cover can come off. Both valve covers can come off. Then we'll set it to top dead center. And go from there. Oh, there's a connector there. There. Follow it. Follow it. Huh. There's only 2 bolts back. Okay. Let's see.
see here. You guys watching this? Yeah, we got a commented it. It's the timing chain is making all kinds of racket, and when you first start it up, once it's running, it's fine. It runs smooth, no check engine light, no anything. It's just when you first start it up, you know, it's sounds like a box of rocks, and it's pretty embarrassing. So I lived with it long enough, and actually it's getting pretty bad now. Now, you used to do it every once in a while. It wouldn't happen every time you started it, but now it's every time you start it. So I lived with it long enough. I didn't want to do this because it's a huge job. I mean, it's pretty close to rebuilding an engine. And timing chain, it's a defect from Ford. Timing chain should never have to be looked at ever. But these ones were they stretched prematurely, and the tensioner has only so much tension, and that's it. That's when it starts to rattle. It's getting pretty bad. I think that's all of them. I don't want to pry it. I gotta stop driving old cars. Come on. think it's... Ah, you... Fuck. I have a 9mm long extension into bolt hole with a 1/4 bolt where the socket would go, where the ratchet would insert into the socket. So this piece right here is on the head of the bolt that's going into the socket, if that makes sense. Ah, you fuck. Slipping off the bolt. So that go in like so, like that. This goes into the factory, well, into the crank pulley bolt hole. Okay. Now the tip of this pulley. I don't know if you can see that or not. I think that's okay. Let's try that. Aha, voila. And there we go. Oh no. Oh no. I just fucked that up. Well, guys, don't screw up like I just almost screwed up royally. Need to, holy fuck, I'm so lucky. It's a metric tap. It's a 12 by 1.5 pitch. Holy shit, hope it's okay. Okay, now I can move on to taking the water pump off. There's that bolt. I think this bolt right here was behind the crankshaft pulley. Couldn't reach it. I can't really see from here, but I think it's part of the water pump and any other bolts that might be there. All right. Well, apparently that bolt wasn't part of this water pump, so. Oh shit. Uh-oh. Oh shit. We don't want anything going in there. No, it's gonna let it drain. So I pulled the water pump off, but when I did that, a bunch of coolant came out of here. So keep in mind, even when it stops trickling with coolant, there's still gonna be like a quart of coolant that comes out of here. So, and you make sure that that's covered up. Don't do what I just did, but make sure that's covered up, because coolant will come straight down right into the crank. So I'm gonna be changing the oil anyway, but okay. So now the timing cover can come off. Jeez. Where I'm gonna put you guys? Somewhere here. Somewhere there's good. Something like that. All right. You want to take this wire tray out of the way. Looks like there's a 10 mil nut right there. You don't want anything in your way. All right, 15. Hot. That's clear down there. That's clear, that's clear. That's clear, that's clear. Nothing there, nothing there. Okay. Should just fall off, right? Let's try the rubber mallet first. All right. Oh yeah, I'm getting pretty desperate now. Getting pretty desperate. Whew. Switched over to a hard plastic hammer. There's some movement now. It almost feels like there's a bolt still somewhere. It's probably just the dowel pins and the dowel pins and the RTV silicone or whatever that gasket stuff is. And there's no other place to hit it unless I take the air compressor off. I mean, shit, why not? I'm this far into it. I was kind of hoping I wouldn't have to. Okay, let me get a pry bar. Pry. I don't know. I think I got it. Okay. Woo-wee. Another milestone. Ugh. All right. Now we can see what's doing. Holy moly. Let's see here. There's the tensioner right there. You can count the teeth. I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. Holy cow. Alright, so now it's, I'm gonna take a break. take a 10-minute break. Oof. Okay, well here it is before the old chain comes off. It's that top dead center. There's a Tommy mark there. And there's what I think is the culprit right there for all this. Battery just went dead. I think all the chattering was caused by, where is it? This thing right here. This thing right here. You see the teeth? That's the tensioner. People say you should only see 1 or 2 teeth on the tensioner, but this one has about 5 or 6. So that tells me the chain's stretched. And also, this works off of oil pressure too. So once it ratchets, it should stay locked. But Here, let me move it. So I'm gonna move this thing, and you'll see that the tensioner actually moves. All right. See, it should just latch in that spot, but it moves. Nah, somebody telling me that there's something wrong here with this thing. So yeah. So now I'm gonna have to order some parts, and I'll get back to this probably Monday, Tuesday. Well, today is Monday, so I'm now working. So it's gonna be a while before I get back to this. But in the meantime, I'm gonna order some parts and call it a day. All right. All right. Where can I? Before I go any further, I wanted to update you guys a little bit. As you can see right here, that's where the tensioner was. I took the 2 screws out, and there's a bit of tension on the tensioner, and it popped out. It's on the bench here. I'll show you in a second. This is the slider, or guide. There's another guide right here. There's another guide right there. There's another one right there. Here's the timing. There you go. That's the timing mark right there. It's pretty much lined up with this bolt. Now on this side, it's not quite the same, but that's the timing mark right there. And it's probably the 1230 orientation. I have the cam locking tool in place there, so I know the timing marks are correct. And there's another one right here. Here, let me take it out for you. Let me show you. So this is what, oh, of course, it's not gonna come out easy. This is it here. There's a tool right there, and it slides onto flat part of the crankshaft, not camshaft, sorry. So let me get the light here. Oh, fuck. All right, so there it is there. It slides onto the cam right there. You see it's sitting flat on the head. Sitting on the head there. Sitting on the head there. Okay. And all right.